What up, y'all? It's me, Kanisha, and if you've read the title of the video, then you know exactly why we're here. I decided to come to you guys with this video because last month was National Breastfeeding Month, and also I've been seeing a lot of posts about postpartum issues, and I wanted to address one of them that I dealt with and how I overcame. So I'm going to start with my breastfeeding journey. I gave birth in April 2018 to a beautiful little boy named Amir, and it was an experience. It was a natural birth, and I can talk about that in another video. But I just always knew I wanted to breastfeed, and I just felt like that was the only way to go for me. The first couple of nights were rough because I didn't really understand breastfeeding. So I assumed that he was supposed to already be able to latch on properly. I was supposed to already have a lot of milk, and I'm such a perfectionist. So I was really expecting like, oh yeah, I'm pumping like 32 ounces in the first 2 days. Didn't realize that I wasn't getting milk the first couple of days. It was actually called colostrum, which is just little tiny droplets that have a lot of nutrients and stuff for babies, so it's like perfect for them. But at the time I was thinking maybe he wasn't getting enough, and I didn't understand breastfeeding on demand. So I struggled with that. About day 3, when we went for our checkup, my milk started to come in, which was like, woo, thank God we can get somewhere. Because honey, okay, first of all, let me rewind and talk about how the first couple of nights I tried to pump colostrum. Now, I did not understand what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't know anybody who had breastfed. I just knew it was something that I wanted to do. And the interesting thing is, I researched every single thing about parenting and motherhood and keeping babies. But like the one thing I really didn't research was breastfeeding and how that whole process works. So I didn't really breastfeed, I think, as consistently as I should have because I didn't really understand it. So that affected my supply. I tried cookies, teas. I went from exclusively breastfeeding to exclusively pumping, back to exclusively breastfeeding. Like I was all over the place. And then in the middle of that, I ended up getting mastitis, which is like a clogged milk duct, and it can be an infection. So I had to get antibiotics for that, and that just kind of threw everything off. At one point, I did start to pump a lot more milk than I was used to, and I was starting to get like a little supply, but I wasn't as consistent as I should have. And because I was going through postpartum anxiety at the same time, my milk supply just didn't really get where it needed to be for my son. So we ended up supplementing, and by month 3, I completely stopped breastfeeding, stopped giving him my breast milk, and we just went straight to formula. I was tired of being stressed, and I was trying to deal with, like I said, postpartum anxiety. Now, let's get into that, because that was a doozy. I would have to say that dealing with postpartum anxiety was probably one of the hardest things I've had to deal with in my life. And the reason why I say that is because when you have a baby, you're expecting to be able to play with this baby, have fun, cuddle, all of that. You don't expect to walk around with a dark cloud over your head, being scared and nervous all the time, feeling like something's going to happen. And so I'll explain my journey. I want to say that it started about the first day that we came home from the hospital. I just wasn't really feeling that connection and bond like I thought I was supposed to feel. I was just tired, really, and I thought that was just normal. But then as, days went on, I started to feel out of control, like not myself. I started to have intrusive thoughts, which are thoughts that are not your own. They just kind of come, and they can be really negative. They can be about harming yourself or others, and it doesn't respect the person or gender. There are men who have dealt with intrusive thoughts, and for me, some of the thoughts that I had were, fear of knives, being afraid to hold a knife because I'm afraid that it might slip and something bizarre might happen and my son would get hurt, or I would drop him while I was trying to rock him to sleep, or the car would crash, and it was just a really scary time. I was pretty much anxious 24/7. There was not a moment that I wasn't anxious. And so I felt like I was losing control. And for me, I'm a perfectionist, I'm a Virgo. I have to be in control at all times. So I had started to research, and I wanted to figure out ways that I could control my brain and my mind, because I just knew, like, this is not what I want. I'm not this type of person, and these aren't the things that I actually want to do. So the first thing that I started to do was I tried meditating and also prayer. Like, I asked God, like, please give me some tools to figure this out. I don't have time to see a therapist. My husband's returning back to work. Everybody else is busy. I don't have time to be in a crisis right now. I have a baby. I want to enjoy him. So what I did was I started to meditate, and it was hard because my mind would quickly go back, and I was trying so hard to fight those thoughts. And in the middle of my meditations, I realized that if I just let the thoughts be what they are, just thoughts, they would go away quicker than me trying to fight them and combat them. It's just like when people say, when you have a negative thought, you got to fight it with like 5 positives. Like, no, just let that thought be, let it roll on by and continue on. And just like any other thought, you don't give them, really any chance to be anything. So that did. And then I started getting into yoga, and it really helped me to learn to move my body, because it was also sending a message to my brain, and I can control the type of thoughts and feelings that go through my body. I improved a lot of my diet. When you're pregnant, obviously you have cravings, and then towards the end it kind of just gets out of control because you just eat whatever you want to eat. And so for me, I just kind of got really serious about eating healthier. I got back in the gym, got back into some of my hobbies. I like Now, I'm not saying like this all just helped to go away. It took me close to a year for me to really stop having intrusive thoughts. And, every now and again they will start to try to come back, but I've learned to just let them be thoughts, and they're going to roll away, and that's fine. We have all dealt with our hormones being out of control after having a baby and trying to figure out ourselves. We have a new identity. There's a whole new human that you have to care for, and you don't know what you're doing most of the time. So I would really encourage you to just lean on your support. You're not alone. You're loved. And that little person really is looking up to you and wanting you there. And they want you to be your best self. One of the things that I learned was when I was my best self, I was able to take care of my husband and my child better. So I think that it's important for you to be able to find ways to take care of yourself, lean on the things that make you happy and make you feel good, and making sure that you're investing in your self-care, because a happy and healthy mama is a happy and healthy baby. I'm not a professional. I would suggest talking to a doctor, talking to a therapist if you're going through some things, especially postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. While they can be very similar, they are very different, and there are different tools you might need to overcome them. But hang in there. You are loved. I love you, and I just really pray that you are able to enjoy motherhood and just have a happy, healthy life. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions or if there are other videos you would like to see. Also, subscribe, because there are going to be more videos coming up soon. So stay tuned for more. I love you guys so much. Peace out.